Happy Monday. It is Monday, February 5th, 2024, here at Precise Algorithm Trading, precisealgorithmtrading.com. And let's jump in here and look at the markets. So, the our futures, these are our automated trading systems. This is our Dow futures, and we've got a nice spike today. Volatility's kicked up a little bit. That helps these systems, and so yeah, this is 2.5. So we had one trade in the Dow today, and it was up $2,800. That's three contracts. So um, getting back some of this red that we've had on the tape here lately. Um, the Russell right here, a little kick back up this today. Nothing really to write home about. We had two trades. You know, the winner was better than the loser, and we did look into some work over the weekend to work on all these stop losses. I've got some ideas. I have not implemented anything yet. I need to take a look a little deeper, but I've got some concepts anyway to check. And there's a very good possibility I won't change anything, but um, yeah. So here's the Nasdaq, and it looks like we're kicking back up again. That's a good thing. So we had 2.5 here. 1, 2, 3 trades today. Uh, two winners and a loser, and we're getting back some of the red. So that is how that works. It's all mostly automated. You got to turn it on, turn it off, and you got to make sure it doesn't jump off the track. But literally can manage that from your phone. For the most part, it's not bulletproof, but it's not bad. So, and then the manual trading systems, we use Thinkorswim. You can do this stuff with other platforms, but this is the one we're most comfortable with, and I've got a ton of experience with. So here's the S&P 500. I'm gonna like look into something here for the sake of education, which is really what this is about. Um, this is the VIX on the left and the SPX on the right. I could put the E-mini futures up here if that it's the same thing, but it's got the lines on it. I'm going to take it off so it doesn't have the lines on it. Yeah, there you go. So I want to look at something here. So this is a Bollinger Band crossover system. That's not really a system. It's more of just an indicator. And when the price crosses and closes above the Bollinger Bands, then you get a blue arrow, and when they cross back below, you get a pink arrow. And you can see right through here we're getting a bunch of that, but it's also because the bands have really narrowed, and the VIX in this case on the left hand side is priced down here at 1367 right now. And you can see when it really gets crazy lately, it's up around 22 or even up to 24. And you can see in history, these levels up here were around 37, 35. And what I'm wanting you to notice is that when this thing gets really crazy, which I'm going to have to come all the way back to the right. So it got a little crazy here. When we were in this sell-off, and it was a pattern sell-off with waves, right? On the right-hand side, we were literally coming up and going down and coming up and going down. And you can see when we hit the bottom, or right before we hit the bottom, you can see that on my right hand side I've got the pencil, and on the left hand side the line moves with the S&P 500 based on the date. So on the date, this date right here was 10/23/23, and if we go find that same date over here, there's 10/23/23. It's this red candle right down here at the bottom, and we got that Bollinger Band move back inside on the left hand side. Now the move wasn't finished to the downside, but it was pretty dang close, and we got that by it came down inside over here on the left, came back up and retouched the Bollinger Band, and then pulled back hard, and that's when the market gave way back to the upside. So right now we're in this back and forth here, and I'm going to tell you, I think there's an awful lot of reasons to think this market's going to go higher, but I think in the short run we're going to probably have to get down here and give up some of this before we get a chance to go higher, because this doesn't have that far to go. If you look historically, I mean, that was down around 14, and you can see volatility needs to kick up some. I don't think that you can find a time when the market moved up like this and then just totally stayed sideways and then went up again. So when this VIX kicks in, we're going to see here, I'm going to move this out one more time so you can see back here. Yeah, shoot. Here was when it kicked up. We got that Bollinger Band kicked back in after this big VIX rise, and then it gave way to this move higher. So that was that whole move lower on the VIX. Then we went back and forth for a bit, which was all that, and that's the move that we just showed you. So I think it's, if you play around with that a little bit, you put the VIX on the one side and you put the S&P on the other side, you can and you move your cursor through the dates, you can kind of see that, I shouldn't say kinda, it's certainly the VIX and the market move opposite of each other. So the fact that, and what I'm trying to get at, is that the VIX is down here the way it is, and the market is up here the way it is. I mean, today was a precursor when the Dow went down. Here, let's look at the Dow. We'll look at it in the DIA. The Dow sold off 0.37 or 0.73%, which is hardly anything. So, you know, if we start to get down to here, that's 30 points or 10%. So, which is normal, like, not corrective territory. It's just like a normal pullback. So, yes, hopefully that helps. Something to look at, and it's just something to keep an eye on. We stay in our systems, and we don't have to even really worry about it. So today the S&P went down 0.32%. The Dow, and it's still green up here, so the Dow went down 0.71% and 274 points, which is, I mean, it feels worse than it looks. The Russell has really been in this back and forth territory here. And so this is the impulse wave, and this is the corrective. These are the corrective waves. The next thing that is really interesting out of all this is, you know, we should get a pullback roughly to the center, and if we go in another impulse wave to the upside, then you know, everything I just said is like, that's where the bull will kick back in again. But man, it sure feels like it's got to come down first. So especially when you take into account, like I say, the Dow is still way up here. It needs to correct some because markets just can't go in one direction forever. The Russell, yeah, that's what we just looked at, and then the Nasdaq. Wow, the Nasdaq is really holding up there. So that's good in the scheme of things. It's just one of these days it's going to cut loose. And the transports are really just walking sideways in a corrective phase. And that's the overall markets. So oil today, man, I hate that that just keeps bouncing up there, but that's something I haven't figured out how to fix. I think it's on their end. So here's oil and it's bouncing. Uh, it doesn't look as bullish as it used to. I'm going to need some more convincing. Gold, GLD, today, actually, it still looks pretty alright to me. So, and it's a short term. It doesn't have very long, but it had the signal to go long here and technically back here too. And if now that it's pulled back here, really the stop is right where I've got it there. So this is actually something I added back into today, and if I'm wrong, I'm just going to be giving up this much risk. So doesn't look near as good on the hourly chart, other than the fact that we did get this nice breakout to the upside before we got this pullback, and my stop's down here. So all right, let's go to let's look at Apple real quick because it's one that everybody keeps their eye on. That's earnings was where it fell. It fell into earnings, and then we had that big fall after earnings, but the really major pullback up too. So we had this. Let's zoom this out a little bit. We had all this action coming up into this. Then we had a corrective phase, like bearish, but corrective. And then we had this new uh, impulse wave pattern higher. We've come up to the old highs. Now we've corrected some more. And even if the other markets, the regular markets, don't hold up here, this sure looks like it's going to be a bullish pattern going forward. It looks like it wants to break out to these new highs, and then just take off from there. But just take it a day at a time. Right now, there's no signal, and the 30 period moving average is red. So this is a real fickle play right now, and we can watch the market structure. We need to start breaking out to new higher highs and higher lows. We got all those things to watch for, but and so goes the Apple. Is the kind of like how the market might go. So Meta broke out the other day nicely, and it's just basically walking sideways now. Google, it fell over on earnings, but it's been holding up fine. So just like it has been for the last whatever, more than more than just last year. of, Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, and Google. Those are the ones to be watching. And TSLA, Tesla, see what it's been doing. It fell off into earnings, and it does not look like it wants to recover anytime soon. But again, we'll just watch it for starting to make new higher highs and higher lows, because this still could just be a corrective pattern. I mean, that could be a bull flag. Not one I want to jump in front of, but all right, let's. Sorry, I've been belaboring that one too long. Let's go over here to Safari and type in bullish at stockcharts.com. We'll go through these real quick. So the industrials today didn't move. We're in a column of O's. The NYA went down 1.81% today in a column of O's. The transports didn't move in a column of O's. The NASDAQ down 1.57% in a fresh new column of O's. The SPX down 0.3% in a column of O's. The OEX didn't move today in a column of O's. And the NDX down 2.74%. So the NASDAQ 100, the one that looks the strongest when we were just looking at most of those charts, sure looks like it wants to roll over here. So it's going to be a tug of war, really, between what's going on with the amount of bullishness in the market and really what the actual particular stocks do. I think we're possibly going into a stock pickers type of a market. So until next time, have a great evening and stick to your discipline. Take care.